Namaskar. In today's edition of Right Angle, I'd like to share with you all my thoughts on some important news item that I came across this afternoon. And that news is, and of course, he has been in the news thanks to the overreach of our judiciary that I will be talking about a little later. But I am talking of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Mr. k.stalin. He has set up a committee today which is headed by a former Justice of the Supreme Court. But I think that news was wrong that Mr. Joseph was not the Chief Justice, to the best of my knowledge. I think he was a justice. So under him, he has set up a committee, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, the former Justice Mr. Joseph is. So under him, he has formed a committee. That committee will be deciding on the state autonomy of Tamil Nadu. And among many things, it will recommend how some of the rights of the states that have been taken by the union government, that means the central government. You know that when we talk of the administration of the country, there are three lists. There are certain topics which are under the state list. That means the state governments will be dealing with them. There are certain matters that only the central government will be dealing with them. And there are many matters where the state government and the central government together will be dealing with those matters. And that is these matters are under what is called the concurrent list. And you know that if there are conflicts between the state government and the central government under our constitution, it is very obvious and quite natural that the central government will prevail. So, in the name of state autonomy, what the Tamil Nadu government wants that most of the rights now that are under the concurrent list must be returned to the state list. And that means Delhi and the central government will have no role whatsoever. In a way, it is more dangerous even than in the Article 370, in the sense that they want it to be incorporated, or the constitution will be changed accordingly, and under which they will be dealing with all those things. So the point is, and all these things are being done in the name of so-called federalism. Friends, I must tell you that when I was a student, I'm not exactly a lawyer, but the point is that as a student of political science, we do read we did read the Indian Constitution. And in my university days, even in places like JNU where I studied, I have seen the many so-called big names and big professors who wrote books on public administration and things of that sort till 1991. I don't think any of the esteemed Indian intellectuals ever even used the word federalism, because everybody was talking of India being a quasi-federal state, as a quasi-federal country. As you know, our constitution says that India is a union of states. The primacy under our constitution has been given to the union, quote unquote, union of states. So they said it's a quasi-federal thing. But the narrative over the last 15, 20 years or 25, 30 years that we now see every second day when there is any problem between state and the government here in Delhi, everybody talks of federalism, federal balance is being disturbed, what and what not. And everybody talks of constitution. Like yesterday, I think that is very important. I think I saw one news item yesterday where because we are commemorating Dr. Ambedkar's birth anniversary, And there, I think some Supreme Court justice, I think Justice Gabhai, who incidentally is going to be the next Chief Justice, I think. He had said, Ambedkar never even talked in those, never used this language, because Ambedkar always, gave, primacy to the fact that we must be Indian first. And then whether we are a Tamil, whether we are a Marathi, whether you are a Odia, whether we are a Bengali or Bihari or Upite, that will come later. Or whether we are Hindu, whether we are Muslim, whether we are Christian, these things will come later. But first and foremost, we are Indians. So that means the important thing is that what matters ultimately, or what should matter, is that it is India. And then one has to talk of India's unity and integrity. And obviously the unfortunate circumstances during which the country got divided, and the environment in which the Constitution of India was made, and there are so many centrifugal tendencies. They were there even in 1947, and they are there even now, even 2025. That cannot be denied, and I am not going to deal with them because that will take a lot of time. That being the case, the most important, or the primacy, has to be given to the fact that India as a country must get primacy over all other things. So that being the case, here people are talking in terms of taking power from India and empowering, say, a particular state. I think this is a very, very dangerous development. And of course, there has to be coordination. I am not denying the importance of that. So as our Prime Minister Modi says that there should be, a competitive federalism, in the sense that the states must compete among themselves how to develop more and more, so that India becomes a developed country by the year 2047. So instead of that cooperative federalism, and you are talking of federalism, that cooperative and competitive, that adjective, this is totally absent. I think that is negating the very constitution whose drafting committee's chairman happened to be late B.R. Ambedkar. Now every political party, now is doing politics in the name of Ambedkar. As I said, till 1991, one hardly heard about this concept of federalism. Now, even I don't think till 10 or 15 years back, Ambedkar was not such a, political, figure that everybody said that, Indian politics, cannot be thought without, taking the name of, Ambedkar, the way Ambedkar himself would have laughed at it. I think he would have been very much, ashamed of what, people are, doing. All the political parties are, tarnishing his name by making him a political tool. I think a true spirit of Ambedkar, and if he would have been alive or in heaven, he must be wondering what has happened. That means it is not respecting and honoring Mr. Ambedkar, it is actually denigrating him. Anyway, that's a different matter. But coming back to Stalin, why he was emboldened to do this? Because he got a license to do it by the most obnoxious verdict by two judges of the Supreme Court. I am not going to take their names. And they have done everything unconstitutional, though they are Supreme Court justices. Well, there is a problem with the governor not signing the legislations passed by the Tamil Nadu Assembly. But I'm not going into it. Why is it that only this problem with governors power comes up with those states which are ruled, I think, 2-3 states. It's not that all the opposition party ruled states. One sees, this sort of, that again is a different matter. There are no problems. You can take, but then in the name of doing that, in the name of interpreting the law, the most, stupendous and obnoxious, if at all I may be, using this word, that, verdict talked of, that it not only takes away the power of the governor, as I said, that he's the, let's not, I'm not going into these details of that, case, just 2-3 points so that you will understand the enormity of the situation, which now has emboldened man like, Stalin. Now they challenge the entire, concept of Indian constitution and taking away the power from the center. So, what they have done on 8th of March, said that, governor is helpless. Suppose एक legislation को उसने लौटा दिया है and that again is passed, governor is helpless, he is bound to sign it. That is understandable. Then he says that there is a time limit during which he has to return. There is a provision. There are certain things the governor reserves, things for the president of India, right? And the president of India is under not any compulsion to do the things in a particular, limited, period of time, that now the Supreme Court has said, the 2 justices. When I'm talking of Supreme Court, the 2 justices, I think procedurally also it is wrong. I do not know whether the Modi government is going to take it up or not, because when one talks of a constitutional authority, like governor, and is bringing the president to the matter, then the matter should be discussed by a constitutional bench and of the Supreme Court. And constitutional bench means there have to be normally 5 judges. Here the 2 judges have arrogated that position. It is a absolutely highly sensitive constitutional matter, and now they have given order to the president. Look, president, you have to return everything within 3 months. And if within 3 months the assembly will send you back, you have to sign it. And suppose there are some things you cannot take any decision, you must refer the matter to us. Who will judge whether it involves some constitutional issue or not. That means a normal executive power, the President of India, he said that Supreme Court, you are subordinate to us. You have to give it. There is, of course, a provision. The President, can take some advisory opinion. Advisory, that by its very nature, it is not compulsory. If he thinks, he always can, take some opinion on that. And then, if the Supreme Court gives some opinion, very rare instances, then it is not mandatory that the President will be abiding by that. But here they say, you have to seek an opinion from us. It is mandatory. You have to seek an opinion from us. And whatever we will say, you will do it. All your decisions are under my review. These 2 judges will say, who the hell are you, President? Who the hell are you, Governor? We are supreme. You have to come under, us. Imagine, as I said, these centrifugal tendencies and how he is, trying to take away the power of the center in the name of state autonomy. Tomorrow, Tamil Nadu has got a history. Tomorrow, suppose Tamil Nadu Assembly or any state assembly, or for that matter, let us take up, Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. They will say that we want restoration of Article 370. And Tamil Nadu will secede and, join with half of Sri Lanka, Tamil, we will be forming an independent country. This is the opinion of our, assembly. So obviously they will reject it, first time. Second time also President cannot do, he has to take this thing. And they are in a bound. They said that if the second time the legislation comes by the elected legislative assembly, the elected people, you have no power. You have to agree with it. That means if Tamil Nadu Assembly, as I said, they have formed, they arrogated that forming a committee to decide what the Tamil Nadu's government's power will be, and then they pass it tomorrow. That means they have no power. The governor has no power. The president has no power. And if unfortunately finally the matter comes to the Supreme Court, which the president has been ordered to submit it, and I am quite sure if these are the judges, they may just well grant it. You never know. Can you ever imagine such a dangerous situation that has been pronounced by our learned justices in the Supreme Court? And as I said, it is a constitutional matter. It should have gone to a constitutional bench. Two justices have arrogated themselves to this sort of power and to this sort of giving instructions. Where the hell we are heading at? If this is not judicial overreach, I really sometimes fail to understand. Judges, people are Indians are really seeking justice from you. लोगों को 20 साल, 25 साल, 30 साल लग जाता है कोई justice मिलने के लिए. You are not worried about any time limit, but you are very much concerned about Stalin. And tomorrow somebody, another secessionist there in Kashmir will say that we want Article 370 restored, and you are so concerned about them. I am not talking of the number of myriad cases where the criminals now they think bail is their fundamental right. And any corruption bala you must have seen over the last 1 or 2 years, they all are released. I really do not know whether one can get justice. I think in the social media, I think that Rana, who has come under extradition, then somebody, social media people are saying, hey, he should just go to Supreme Court and we'll hire the service of the lawyer like Kapil Sibal. Mr. Kapil Sibal, again, he once had defended the Tamil Nadu government by saying, that Sri Lanka and this thing, that Hanuman Bala, that Setu Bala jo tha, there was no concept of this Lord Ram, whether Lord Ram ever existed. What guarantee that that how he was defending defending in Ayodhya, what was his line of argument, and how he also had argued in the Supreme Court that Kashmir was a sovereign, internal sovereign. So with lawyers like this thing, if they will come, and if unfortunately the matters go to justices like these people, then imagine what will happen. If this is not judicial overreach, what else is? So my point is this: what is happening now, and I think that is a matter to be really worried about. We are talking of being one of the or other world's largest in democracy. I'm not talking of only in India, even in other democratic countries. Crores and people, they elect you. But you can democratically change an executive. That means, suppose you do not like a particular type of government, you can vote it out. Some new people can come. But these new people, even if they have got the mandate of the people, they cannot do anything if they may have, support of crores and crores of people. But if one or two or three hostile justices of the Supreme Court are there, they can literally unmake every government. They always will say that everything is illegal, everything is illegal. This absurd thing now you also see there these days in America. The federal justices at the lower level, that means it is like our here in Delhi, Tis Hazari Court, or for that matter Rouse Avenue or Karkar Doma, they are now saying what Trump is doing is wrong. All his decisions are being nullified. Of course, now the matter has gone to the American Supreme Court. That's a different thing. But the point is, what I'm saying is that where is the future of democracy? And I think this is really a very important question that should be debated and discussed all over the world. If people having the executive and legislatures having the mandate of crores and crores of people become helpless just because few individuals sitting in the judiciary are hell bent on negating everything, and they think that what they say ultimately must prevail in the country. And the way, particularly in India, we have seen, we have discussed it, the way the judiciary now has taken over many of the functions that under Ambedkar made constitution were reserved for the executive. And who these judiciary people? This also is something unique in India. The judges appoint themselves. That is nowhere in the world you see. Here the judges appoint themselves. And now one or two of them will say who the hell the Prime Minister is, who the hell the Chief Minister is, who the hell this thing. Are we, the President of India, now they have demanded, President, you must seek my advice, our advice. And whatever we say, you are bound by it. I think this is something, a very, very dangerous development for the future of democracy in India. And if India's democracy has to remain alive, then a time has come to tackle or deal with this problem of judicial overreach. Well, let me end here and thank you for listening to me. Namaskar.